Throughout history, people have made amazing accomplishments that define themselves. Now, it's our turn to tell those accomplishments, to tell his story, her story, their story, and even your story. With Mike Wexler.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Your Story with Mike Wexler. That happens to be me. Thank you so much for joining in. I have a very special guest here. This individual is a professional wrestler, a father, but not only that, but just an overall cool guy. I got to meet him in person over at GCW Blood in the Hills, where chairs were flown and he was doing good security guard on his part. So shout out to him for that. But I first recognized this individual when he had his legendary match against Ruby Reyes over at Raise the Bar Wrestling. And not only that, but he's been killing it in the West Coast area. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the Backwood Brawler, Hunter Freeman. How are you?
What's up, Mike? How's it going, dude? Living here, anything else is a plus, big dog. Anything else is a plus.
No, I do it. Like I said, I do appreciate you taking the time. One thing I do want to get started with is that, of course, you are going through the quarantine right now. How is everything? How's the family?
It's good. Yeah. My family, we were hit this past weekend with the COVID. Myself, my wife, both were positive. She didn't have symptoms. Well, she had a little bit of symptoms, but I had symptoms from it. And it kicked my butt. It was pretty rough. Luckily our 1-year-old, he didn't test positive or anything like that. So he's still, doing his thing, but that's him right there. I don't know if you hear him, but yeah, the viewer discretion. If you hear a baby in the background, it's mine. But still a family man, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we were hit pretty hard by that this weekend. It kind of sucked because it was it was going to be a pretty busy weekend for me. But I just, being I tested positive and, you never want to say no to bookings or anything like that. But if your health's on the line and the health of others, you know what I mean? I think it was the bigger step and the better decision to call off from this weekend, because I was, we had Level Up. We were supposed to do the Terror Dome, at my home promotion, Level Up Ground Zero. We had that show ended up getting canceled, and then that was on a Saturday, and then Sunday, I was supposed to be on LA Fights. But my match didn't get announced or anything like that yet, because they kind of wait like last second to announce some of the matches, but I was supposed to be on it, and it sucks that I had to say, hey, I can't be at your show because I'm sick. But, I know later down the line, I'll be back. There was no hard feelings or anything. I just know if I was sick, I didn't want to be that guy who got other people sick. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people think it's serious. Like, you got people that are naysayers about it or, anything like that. That's none of my business. You got an opinion, you're allowed to have one. I know I was sick and I don't want to get anybody else sick. So I was just like, brother, I'm just going to take the safe road. You know what I mean? So, but it is what it is. They'll be back around and I'll be tearing it up hopefully in the next week or so. So who knows?
Yeah. You've been killing it when it comes to the professional wrestling scene. Of course, you mentioned up Level Up, and of course, Ground Zero. One of the things that I do want to mention too is that fairly recently in 2021, you had a very breakout year. You came to the California scene. You had the Raise the Bar, as I mentioned before. Can you talk to us about that? Like, what did 2021 mean to you as a person?
2021 was, it was a big year for me. I definitely, I guess I got like, I'm not the best when it comes to where I'm kind of illiterate, but from the South. It was a big year for me because I felt like I had something to prove. I had a lot of life-changing things happen. Me and my wife, we had our kid, and I got married, and and I just focused on, it was hard because I had to focus on being a father and being a husband. And I didn't want wrestling to take a back seat, you know what I'm saying? So luckily my wife was totally unselfish in the whole deal. And she told me, she said, look, she said, I know you, like, you'll be miserable if you stop doing this or anything. Cause I thought about, like, man, I just want to call it quits and just, do this, which I would do if push come to shove and I had to come down to it and decisions were made. I'd want to be with my family, but she knows that she would probably like beat the hell out of me if all I did was stay home and not wrestle. So she's like, please go wrestle. I need an escape from you. Good God. But, I got really motivated when she told me that. And I said, I'm going to make something out of this year. And I kind of, tried to perfect my craft a little bit more. And I think 2021 was definitely one of those years where I found out who I was as a wrestler. You know what I mean? Because for the while I didn't know what I wanted to do. It was when I first started, it was I started out here, it was more lucha based, and everything here in Southern California is more lucha based. And for a while I thought I was going to be a luchador, and come to find out, there's some things I can do and some things I can't do. So I definitely had to find out what my niche was. And it wasn't until, I could have like, your basic standardized match, where I was just wrestler A, you know what I'm saying? But I had to find what made Hunter Freeman, what made people want to come watch me wrestle, and I credit that to, my peers in this business and one of my mentors, B-Boy. So he definitely, took me under his wing, and he told me, he's like, you got to find what makes you and what's going to make people want to come watch you some more. So that's where I definitely like kind of altered my style a little bit more. Now I will admit, when I go out there and wrestle, my safety of myself goes out the window. I could care less about my safety. I want to do what's going to get the job done to win. So yeah, I started, dabbling a little bit, doing a little bit of death matches and a little bit of more hardcore matches and different things like that. And I just accredit, guys that I watched in that scene, the deathmatch wrestling scene, like Cologne and Murdoch and Gage and Schlack and all those guys, and R.I.P. Marcus Crane, and I really started like watching them and seeing how they were doing it, and I fell in love with it. And it was like, it told a story, which I like about wrestling. It's not just, a lot of people think the deathmatch wrestling, they just go out there and just start beating the hell out of one another, just start hitting each other. If it doesn't make sense, why do it, and just being innovative with it, and I hope one day, to keep working at it and to be, on the level of those guys that I just mentioned. And I know it's going to take a while to do it, but I've been lucky enough that when I go and I, pay your dues, like you see me at security at GCW, you go, you work, you do your thing, you try to, you want to make an impression on the promoter and everything like that, but I take pride that when I go, I always learn something every time I go there. I listen to those guys back there when they're talking and, doing their thing, and just sitting under the learning tree with those guys. And, it's been really cool that a lot of those guys, they will talk to me and they'll answer my questions and different things like that. They're really cool people, really cool, workers and mentors and things like that. But that's the big thing that I take from it. And to go back, I kind of got off tangent, just to go back. So that's what I wanted. I wanted to make this year a breakout year for me. And I feel like I've done it, but 2022, I hope is going to be even bigger. You know what I mean? I continue to work harder. And I mean, it's just the first of the year, and I just want to continue to get better and better at this, and to where it's people are blowing up my inbox, to want to use me, and that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing something right. People want to see me. People want to see me work. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I could just go out and just give some half-ass show every time, but who wants to see some 6'5" slinky guy go out there and just blah? I'd rather them get something out of it when they come and watch me. So,
yeah. I mean, your strategy when it comes to your professional wrestling career is amazing. I mean, I feel like that, and you probably share the same view, is that when you do something that you love, it doesn't really feel like a job.
No, it's not. I go every show that I go to and I work on. It's not work for me. I get to go and I get to do something that I have loved since I was 2 years old, so not a lot of people get to do this. A lot of people can try to do this. And I've seen people, coming from a trainer standpoint, I've seen people try to do this and they think this is what they wanted to do and then immediately give up on it. I'm fortunate enough that I'm able to do this. And so I treat it as, every time I step in that ring, I'm blessed to be able to do it, And so that just means that I got to put in 120,000% because I don't want to be the one people are shitting on. You know what I mean? They're like, it was like watching a fart in church. You know what I mean? I'd rather them when they see one of my matches, they're like, man, that guy throws down, man. He don't care. He'll do whatever it takes, And I feel like I do that, but just keep getting better and better, man. That's it. You never stop learning. You give 100,000% of your heart into it. You'll never have a bad day at the office.
Yeah. And I feel like not only you put that in your wrestling, but as you mentioned in your training, let's talk about that for a little bit. Like, how much of an influence do you have on the people that you train?
Well, I mean, I don't know. You probably have to ask them. I admit, I try to train as much as I can. It's a little harder for me because of, I do have a family, but again, like I said before, my wife is totally unselfish and she tells me to go train. But I also know that I have, duties as a father and as a husband that I try to do. So I try to, even that out as much as I can. But, as far as like the impact I feel like I have on others, I try to go in and just try to motivate people. And, and there's one thing I always ask, like, I always ask whenever we get like a new batch at Level Up, and it's like, it'll be my day that I'll train them. I usually have like a little sit down with them and I'll ask them, I say, what do you want out of this? What's your end goal in this business? Is it some people will be like, I just want to have a match. Some people will be like, I want to be the WWE champion or AEW champion, whatever. So I just tell them, just say, whatever your goal is in this, give 110% to it, and you'll succeed. It might take a while, but as long as you do that, you'll succeed. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like a lot of, like, if you were to ask a bunch of them, which I don't know, they might say I'm an asshole, but if you were to ask a lot of them, if you were to ask majority of them, they would be like, he keeps it real with us. He always keeps it 100% with us, and he's never lied to us or anything like that. And it's funny that I mentioned that they might think I'm an asshole, but that I say this on the regular to a lot of guys after they make that advance, like when they step to the door, when they go from beginners to intermediates, I will tell them this. I'll say, you guys are going now from that beginner stage to the intermediate stage, and they're starting to get more into the world of wrestling now. Beginner stage is more just learning the basics and seeing what you got, and cardio and different things like that. When you get towards that intermediate stage, it's starting to become more of a wrestling thing. And I always tell the guys, and this is my like harsh moment I have with them. I'll tell them, I say, you guys ain't shit. Just remember that. You guys might have succeeded, but you ain't shit. You ain't made it. And I say that and I tell them, I said, hey, but no hard feelings, because I say it to myself all the time. I ain't shit still. I'm still constantly learning and things like that. And I will never the day I stop learning in the business is the day I need to just hang it up. Is the thing. So you're always constantly learning. And I kind of like have that little reality check with them and let them know, just like, this doesn't stop here. You're not a wrestler yet. Sometimes I say I'm not a wrestler sometimes, but that's, and it kind of hits home with them when I say that, it kind of humbles them a little bit. And again, I still say it to myself, I try to stay as humble as I can, but, that's the big thing with that. So I think that's probably the best answer I could give you for that, is what I think I give to those guys at training. That they got a good group of people, good guys that train there at Level Up. I mean, we got a good group, and I can't put those guys over there enough, good people.
Yeah.
But we got a good head coach, and he keeps all of us humbled, and because he's a humble person as well. So that's pretty much it with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love that strategy. And then, just teaching these young wrestlers, just not something inside the wrestling business, but I also feel like, in life in general, like every day you're learning, you know what I mean? Like every day is a process. And that's what I love about that strategy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one I definitely live by. You never stop learning. Never stop learning.
Absolutely. One thing I do want to mention as well is that when it comes to Hunter Freeman, I do want to talk about one day in particular that you were a part of in terms of the wrestling promotion, and that happens to be Raise the Bar. You had a one-on-one match against Ruby Ray's, friend versus friend. It was an absolute banger. I had a friend that was in the attendance of that evening, and he was just describing how much of an awesome match it was. I got to see it from online because unfortunately I wasn't able to go to that event. And oh my goodness, that was a true one-of-a-kind match. So can you talk to us about working with Ruby Ray's and just having your first match over at Raise the Bar?
Oh man, Ruby, she's my big sister, and that's basically what it was, it was just sibling rivalry. We were not, the match got announced, we were just like, okay, like, one of us wants to win. I ain't gonna say just because I'm a guy that I'm gonna take it easy on her, or just because she's a woman, I'm gonna take it easy on her because she don't want that, and I would want her to hold anything back. And I know I've tagged with Ruby, and I know how tough she is, and I knew going into it that I was gonna have to beat the hell out of her because I knew she was gonna beat the hell out of me. But going into it, that's easy days. All it was just trying to see who's gonna win, and we beat the hell out of each other, and it was fun though, because I like to get hit, she likes to get hit, and we don't back down for nobody. We're both hard hitting, and I'm glad Yuma and Raise the Bar, all the cats there, I'm glad they put that match together, and it was a good debut match for myself to have there, and I'm glad I was in there with a good dancing partner like Ruby. And they say you go out and you have fun, you never have a bad day at work, and that's what we did. We went out there and we had fun. My jaw hurt afterwards. I'm not gonna lie, my jaw and my neck hurt afterwards. But she let me know afterwards her face hurt because I was booting the hell out of her. But she ended up coming out on top, getting the win. I respect that. I've seen her beat the hell out of a lot of grown-ass men. So anybody that wants to talk shit and say, oh, you let a girl beat you, I'm going to be like, all right, you step in the ring with her. I promise you, she'll knock the hell out of you. But she wouldn't hold anything back on me, and I wouldn't hold anything back on her. And she could probably vouch that anybody that steps in the ring with me has got a damn handful as well, But we go out there, we beat the hell out of one another, we do our thing, we work, and whoever wins. And guess what? We got done. We had a beer, and I was a little pissed off when she spilled mine, but she got me a beer afterwards, and she said, "Okay, are we good now?" I said, "Yeah, we're good." But it was a great match, a great venue, great. The fans were on fire. I was feeding off them. She was feeding off of them. We were pumped, man. And I guess it was just pumped because I was at Raise the Bar, and it was it kind of gave me the, I don't know if you ever been to the, it's kind of the old bar wrestling, back in the day. I was never fortunate enough to be on those shows, and it was kind of one of those, like, with Raise the Bar. I'm really happy I was able to be a part of it. That was kind of like my SoCal, like, debut. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the one where it's like the other SoCal promotions, you don't really get that many names that you see now, that are on like AEW and stuff. And this is one where it was like one of those promotions where it's like, all right, I've made this card, I've made this show and this match card, and I want to, show out and be a part of it, because there was a lot of good people on the show, and I didn't want my name just to be whoever the hell this guy is. You know what I mean? You got to think of everybody that was on there, Jigsaw, Ray Rosas, Wolf Zaddies, up and comers, Nick Wayne, Keita Murray, on there with Bateman and all those guys. And, I didn't want people leaving being like, who the hell was this Hunter Freeman guy? I want them to be I was like, I want to be like, who the hell was this Hunter Freeman guy? And I feel like I did,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But it was a good time, man. I love Raise the Bar, and I can't wait to be back. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, my favorite part of the entire match was the story behind it. I mean, of course, you had the hype promo that came with it when you and Ruby Ray shared a beer. And of course, that sibling rivalry you saw come into play when I believe one of the beers got just completely destroyed.
Yeah, she don't know her own strength when she cheers me. She caught me off guard. She spilt my beer. I think it pissed me off more than anything.
But still, the story, as we mentioned earlier in the interview, that's what made the match so great. So that's one of the things that I attest to when it comes to that being a great match.
Yeah, it was a fun one. It was, and that's, like I said, you go in, you have fun. It's going to be an easy day. Easy day at the office.
Well, speaking about easy day at the office, you went from Raise the Bar to not too long after in 2021, we went to the first ever LA Fights, and that at the Down Quixote. Can you talk to us about that experience? Because it was the first ever LA Fights. Of course, that was that's actually the sister promotion of GCW, because of course they had their own separate promotion in JCW, Jersey Championship Wrestling, and then now they have LA Fights. So what was it like to be inside the building, being a part of that just stacked night?
Nerve-wracking. Very nerve-wracking. Going into it, when LA Fights was announced, it was definitely something. It was a goal where it was, I got to make this show. I got to be on this show. And, you do what you do as a wrestler to try to get yourself out there and promote yourself and get eyes on you. And I went in with the mindset that, I want to be on the show. Because after watching GCW for so long and respecting all those guys that are on GCW, I just wanted to show what I could give to their product, and it's a cool thing that GCW, just like what they're doing out on the East Coast, with Jersey Championship Wrestling, they'll be able for us to showcase it here in LA, because there's a lot of talent of us out here, and as much as I'm sure they wish they could, have all of us here on a GCW show, the LA Fights does that, and it puts us on their streaming platform for the world to see, because a lot of eyes watch them. You know what I mean? And it really, it's just one of those. When I was going into it, like, I was just kind of nervous about it because I knew what this meant, and I knew who was going to be watching this too, because I'll tell you, after the show, you'd be surprised how many GCW, originals will tweet, comment, direct message you to give you feedback, and then that are watching the product. And you always remember, you got to remember, all eyes are on you, And I was thinking of that, and and things like that. And I really wanted to, you know, show out, and I feel like I did. And I was in a scramble, and GCW is very well known for their scrambles. So I knew with that we had a lot of we had some big shoes to fill, you know what I mean? And we wanted to, the guys was in the match where we wanted to give that we wanted to give that same intensity with our scramble. We didn't want to just be lackluster, you know what I mean? And that's what we did. And again, you got good dancing partners, and you got two very good ring generals and vets like, you know, Ray Rosas and Lil Cholo, and they can attest that having good dancing partners as well with the rest of us, and Jay Vidal and D-Rogue and Judiz and myself, you know, we went out there and we killed it, you know, and it was a fun match, man. It was. I mean, it's always a good day when I get to put somebody through a door, and I was able to do so. And I was so happy, you know, because I love the violence like that. But it was a lot of fun, you know, and I can't wait. It sucks. I was going to be on this last one on volume 2, but COVID bug got me, and I can't wait. Maybe volume 3, you know, it's going to be even bigger, because volume 3 is going to be at the Ukrainian Center when GCW runs that whole weekend here in LA, and I'm going to be there that whole entire weekend. And, you know, just to be able to, you know, I've sat and been in that venue at the Ukrainian Center and sat in that ring and, you know, seeing the crowd that's there, just to be able to actually, you know, I don't know how many people in LA, you know, watch the LA fights were able to come to the show. It was still pretty packed crowd there at volume 2 when I was there. But, you know, to do it in front of you know, it's a GCW crowd now, but the bigger venue, and we just want to, show out. That's it. We just want to go out there and we just want to put on a good show. You know, I want to go out there and I want to beat the hell out of people, and I want people to cheer me on while I'm beating the hell out of them. You know, but it's a good time. And I have fun doing it. And again, it's going to be a fun weekend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely a stacked weekend. You have LA fights on the same day as a GCW show. So you're going to get 2 for 1 in terms of awesomeness when it comes to GCW.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be a good time, man. And like I said, it's going to be even, you know, you never know what can happen too. You know what I mean? I mean, talk about JCW. Joey Janela was on it. You know what I mean? The GCW original. So you never know. That weekend, they could be like, all right, this GCW guy is going to be on LA Fights today. So
yeah,
see how this works. You know, who knows? Who knows what can happen? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One thing I do want to talk about, Hunter, is the fact that one of the major things of Hunter Freeman is not just becoming a professional wrestler, living out his dream, you know, beating people up and, you know, making the crowd go behind him. But not only that but being a father, being a family man. So can I, if I may ask, what is the most important thing about family to you?
Most important thing about family to me, 100% without a doubt, is just to be there for each other. Being there for each other, communicating. That's the big thing for me is I am not able to do this without the support of my family. I wouldn't be able to go off and do the things that I do and go to the places that I'm able to go without my wife's support. And, you know, it sucks because there's a lot of things that I've missed, you know. I catch hell for it, but I missed my wife's 30th birthday because I was booked at a very major promotion. And she knew how big this was. And she was very unselfish about it, you know, and I beat myself up about it because I missed a major life stone in her life. And I beat myself up about it. But again, my wife is so unselfish that she's like, it's okay. Like, it'll all be okay in the long run, you know? Right. And I try my best to make up for it as much as I can. But I'm telling you, man, my wife, she does it all, and I can't put her over enough. She's the backbone of backbones, and she's the, I guess what you said, the patriarch or whatever she is. She keeps me in line. She, she'll tell me too. She's my biggest critic as well. She watches all my matches. She doesn't. She'll tell me because she's not a wrestler or anything like that, but she likes wrestling, but she'll tell me, she's like, God, I didn't like this. You shouldn't have done this or blah, blah, blah. She keeps it real with me. But one thing that I told somebody not too long ago, and the reason why I'm working so hard now is because I don't want my kid when he grows up, and I don't want him to think that, his dad was a nobody. I'm sure he's never going to think that, but I don't want him just to think oh, well, my dad, he played wrestler. I want him to, when he goes on Google and he Googles my name, he sees all, like, whoa, like, man, you really did all this? I want him to have a legacy into it, and but I just love being his dad more than anything. That's the best thing. It kind of sucked when I had COVID. I wasn't able to be around him for 2 days, and I was like, yo, man, you wait till I get a negative test result. It's on, big dog. It is on. I'm gonna hug you so hard. But yeah, that's the big thing with me. Family's everything. If you don't have family, you don't got nothing. So got nothing. And luckily my family here, my family back home in Georgia, they're all super supportive of me. I got family in this business, so I'm not the only one in my family that does this. So we're all super supportive and behind one another. So pretty cool thing. I love being a father. Being a husband is great.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's definitely a one of a kind thing, being a father, being a husband, and also being a professional wrestler. Oh yeah. No, it's fun. It's fun. Lets me going off and being a wrestler lets me escape sometimes. And I also have to bring myself back down and be like, all right, you gotta be here now. And I love it when I'm here. So one thing I'm curious about too is the fact that you came from Georgia and then you always travel when you do wrestling shows. When the first time you were able to travel for a wrestling show, did you have nerves? Was it kind of a, oh, this is happening kind of moment? Like, what was that experience for you?
Well, the first place I really traveled off to was out of state was when I went to, was my first time in Arizona. That was my first traveling off, but luckily I had a good riding partner. I was with Mike Camden. I don't know if you know who he is, but
okay.
Mike kind of took me out there, and I wasn't really nervous about the match or anything like that because I was confident in what I was doing, but it was my first time going off in front of a new set of eyes, new fans that didn't really know who I was or anything like that. So that was another one of those, you got to make an impression. And I feel like I did that. And, if you ask fans out in Arizona or anywhere else that I've been, they'll probably be like, that guy was awful, but, I've been able to go off and wrestle in different states and wrestle against, some pretty big name folks, Hammerstone, Gangrel, Calvin Tankman, all these guys. And just as long as I'm I wasn't really so nervous about it because I enjoy traveling and going to places. A lot of times I wish I had my family with me, and sometimes I do have my family with me. It's pretty cool. My wife, she'll get a wild hair and she'll want to take a trip with me and go. But I think the last time we did that was when she went with me to Vegas. But I think that was her just wanting to go gamble more than anything. But it's a good time when you get to go and travel and meet new people and go off to new places. And I've definitely been able to go off and do that. And I've yet to be able to travel and wrestle. I'm trying to get eventually, hopefully, to the Midwest. I hope to be in the Midwest late March, 1st of April. I hope to try to make an effort to go out to the Collective. That's my goal, is to try to do that because that's a huge weekend right there.
Right.
Eyes are on you everywhere right there. So, hey, Collective, anybody in promotions there at the Collective, please look me up on my social media handles, Backwoods Brawler, Hunter Freeman. I will be more than happy to come out to Texas, wrestle for your promotion. I can do it all. No, I'm just kidding. Not to self-plug, but eventually a goal of mine is to get back to the East Coast, and I really want to wrestle at my home state of Georgia, and I want to wrestle. I want to wrestle in front of my hometown, because I'm a small town kid. I don't know how many people you graduated with in your high school class. I graduated with 65.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's pretty much one of those where everybody knows who you are, knows your mom and them and everything like that. And you'd be surprised like how many people I have messaged me on Facebook that from my hometown, and they'll say, "Hey, we watched you wrestling," and blah 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 blah. And it's one of those where I want to go back home and I want to wrestle in front of them, just where they could just see like, "Oh man, he's really doing this." He's good. Blah blah blah. And because I that's the way it kind of was when I was in high school. I was an athlete and and everything like that, and everybody knew who Hunter Freeman was, because I was either in trouble all the time or I was either on the football field or something like that. So that's definitely a goal of mine, is to eventually get back to the East Coast and wrestle in front of family and friends, and fans out there. So who knows? I'm gonna put it out there into the world, and maybe one day it'll happen. I think it will eventually soon. But you got a lot of great places out there. A lot of great, a lot of other wrestlers out there as well who you watch and you'll do study and you'll see things on Twitter and different things like that with all these cats from out there, and you're just like, I feel like I would have good chemistry with them, or different things like that. So, that's a big thing with that. You never know. Never know until you try.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I do want to mention too, Hunter, is the fact that you have one of the most iconic nicknames in professional wrestling, the Backwood Brawler.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a pretty iconic one. I just kind of made that up on a whim.
Really? Can you talk to us about the origin about that?
I don't know. I think I was just sitting one day and I just was trying to think of a name, and I want to say I bounced it off my wife, and I was just like, "What do you think about this name?" Because for the longest time I was going by the SoCal's Resident Redneck, and I think I told my wife, I was just like, and I told other guys, I was just like, I don't want to be just based SoCal, you know what I mean? I want to try to branch out. I don't want to be just centralized in one location, even though SoCal is my home, but, and then, with the whole resident redneck thing, some people can kind of misconstrue that and different things like that. And again, I'm not getting into that whole thing. But it kind of goes into the whole, when I kind of changed my style up and everything like that, I feel like that's when I kind of changed my moniker as well, is because I do a lot of study of those old time brawlers, of Mick Foley and Terry Funk and Hanson and Bruiser Brody and all those guys, like I try to put in as much of them as I can, and with a little bit of myself, and I think that's where the whole idea of changing my name, came from, and it just kind of stick, and it was a lot easier to come up with something like that as a handle on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, no, it's very iconic because of the origin of it. Well, Hunter, I do want to thank you so much for taking your time, getting to talk with me. But before we go, though, I do have one final question for you.
Lay it on me, big dog. Lay it on me. Lay it on me.
And that is, after everything that you have done thus far, like, what's the goal now? What's the goal going into 2022? What are the sites looking for when it comes to Hunter Freeman? And is it championship gold? Is it going for AEW? Where is it going for 2022?
The goal for 2022 is I want to wrestle. I want to branch out more. I want to wrestle everyone, and I want to wrestle everywhere. And I want to, every time that I step foot in any company's in between their ropes that they know that they didn't waste $1 on me. You know what I mean? I want them to know that when I show up and I step through those ropes, that I'm going to put on the best damn wrestling match or whatever they want in their life. And cause I want to impress them, and I want to be brought back because I want to be known as a good hand. You know what I mean? I want to be known as somebody where like, hey, he puts in the work and he does it, you know? So yeah, that's a major goal for me, is just to try to branch out more and get myself out there to more people. You know, and that takes work and that takes hustle, and it's something that I'm definitely trying to put in the work for it. You know, but that's a major goal. You know, everybody, you have those big goals, right? Like, again, another goal is to try to get on AEW, you know, try to do an AEW Dark, or who knows, get signed somewhere. I don't know. Those are big goals to have. But just as long as I can knock out little bitty goals one step at a time, that's what's going to get me to those bigger goals. You know what I'm saying? And the little goals that I have is I want to wrestle everyone. I want, every time I step in, that bell rings, that I'm going to go out there, I'm going to have a banger of a match with whoever I'm out there, and I'm telling a good story, and I'm, you know, I want to impress the promoter, I want to impress the fans, I want to impress, you know, I want to let people know that they can, you know, Hunter Freeman is going to put in the damn work. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, Hunter, thank you so much. If anybody wants to say, hey, man, I like this Hunter Freeman guy, like, where can I follow him? Where can they follow you? Where can they find you?
So Facebook, you can find me at Hunter Freeman. Just type in my name. On Instagram, it is at Backwoods Brawler. Apparently Mike was telling me something's going on with my Instagram. We're going to try to figure that out once we get off the air here, but I promise it will be up and running. Yeah, Backwoods Brawler. And then you can find me on Twitter at Backwoods Brawler as well. I think it's capital BCKWOODS and then Brawler on my Twitter. Give me a follow. I promise you I will follow you back. I'm not one of those guys where it's like, I don't know, okay, just another, not. If you say, hey, I heard you on this dude's podcast, on Mike's podcast, I'll say, cool, and I'll follow you back more than anything. Just don't be blowing me up at the middle of the night. I got a kid, man. He likes to sleep. I can start getting random DMs there in the middle of the night. I'll probably like mute you or something, but nah. Yeah, that's where you can find me, man. Just right there, and I hope, you know, eventually it gets blown up and everybody gets to see what I'm all about, you know.
Well, 2022 will be the year of the Backwood Brawlers. Thank you so much, Hunter. And I got to do this outro thing every single time. But if you want to listen to the podcast, any more podcast episodes, you definitely listen to them on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you can find your podcast, you know, on the road. Or if you want to watch this fully, which I give you credit if you're actually watching this in full, you can always subscribe while you're on it as well at Sock with Mike or Mike Wexler. And hit those notifications, hit that subscribe button. And but most importantly, follow Hunter, man. I'm trying to put him over. This is his story, not my story, man. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next episode of Your Story.